Hey guys, Happy Green Car here. Okay, so we're going to make a little video about attack debuffs, defense debuffs, and just defense in general. So we're going to start off with the attack break debuff and how much attack break can actually do. So we're going to start off with Mr. Vampire, who's going to break the attack of... It's this one, isn't it? Yes. Going to break the attack of the dragon. So attack is broken. I got dealt 1480 damage, I think. 1484 damage when he crit. So 1484 damage when he crits. Let's see how much damage he does normally when he doesn't crit. 2940. So when I attack broke him, he did 1480 damage, I think. And then when he was just attacking normally without a attack break on him, so an attack break debuff, he did 2900, I think it was. So essentially double the amount of damage. So that shows you the value, straight up value of having an attack break creature on your team. That's why everybody really loves Water Arcane Bird, because Water Arcane Bird has that ability to attack debuff the whole enemy team, attack break I should say, the whole enemy team, which makes them deal literally half their damage. It just kind of proved it here. So really massive, really useful debuff to use in your arsenal. The next thing I wanted to show people was... what did I want to show people? I wanted to show people the usefulness of a defense buff. For this one, honestly, I can't think of a way to do it really easily. So, yeah, without getting the timings right. So, I'm just going to say it because I've tested it before. The way it works is when you have a defense, so a plus defense buff on your own team. So say you have a water treant, for example, and you give your team a defense debuff, it adds about 300 defense rating. So it'll add roughly somewhere around 300 defense rating. So if you have 700 defense, it'll make your defense 1000. If you have 600, it'll make it about 900. It does that roughly. So it adds 300. That's huge. That's a massive, massive, massive amount in terms of defense, because it decreases that creates a large amount of mitigation, where say someone was supposed to deal, I don't know, 300 damage to you, they will then deal a lot less, maybe 200 or so. Now those numbers were just kind of made up off the top of my head there, but it gives you an idea of how much mitigation occurs. The one thing I can't do in this video is explain exactly where the numbers are in terms of what defense number provides what amount of mitigation percentage. So for example, I can't tell you that 691 defense provides 55% damage mitigation. I can't tell you that. I can't tell you 780 defense gives you 65% damage mitigation. I can't tell you that either. What I can tell you about defense and how it works is that it's really good. Defense works in such a way in this game after the rework that when you have, let's say when you have about 800 defense or so, that will mitigate a large amount of damage. So if your character has 800 defense also, so for example like this Fire Crusader, so it's got just under 800 defense. If someone tries to attack it, a lot of the damage, the raw damage that would have come through, will be mitigated. I would say, again, I can't provide an exact percentage, but if I had to take a random guess, just based on damage numbers I've seen, I'd say it would be roughly maybe 65% or 70% or something. It's quite high. That does mean that the remainder gets through. So what you'd be asking then is, okay, if I've got 800 defense, is it worth getting 900 defense? Or is it worth getting 1000 defense? Or is it worth getting 1100, 1200? The answer is pretty much that the more defense you get, so into those numbers, into that realm, the more defense you get, the more damage you mitigate from high attack damage creatures. So, for example, say a creature has a potential to deal 5000 damage to you, and you have 800 defense, you're still going to take about maybe 2000 damage or so, or maybe 3000 damage. You're going to take a large amount of damage. If you have 1000 defense, however, you're going to take a significant less amount of that damage. So say you're supposed to take 2000 of that 5000, you may only now be taking about 1000 damage of that. You'll be taking a lot less damage. The problem is, to get that much defense on your creatures, you have to sacrifice other glyph spots, and it might be more worth getting a HP glyph instead, because you might be able to make up the raw amount of damage mitigation in extra HP and having an okay amount of defense on top of that. So essentially, in layman's terms, the easiest way to put it is that if you're dealing with creatures that deal a large amount of damage, then it's always better to have a massive defense, as long as you don't get defense broken. If you deal with just standard monsters and, the occasional tough guy or the occasional guy that deals a large amount of damage, it should be okay to hover your defense somewhere around 800 or so. 800, possibly 900 if you can. It's a good amount to hover around there, but it never hurts having, like 1000 or so. For Glyph 10, it should be okay to poke around maybe 800 to 1000 or so, with roughly 12k, 13k health on most creatures, and that should be okay in terms of living. And yeah, sorry I can't really give as much detail as I'd like to. It's just kind of hard to figure out exactly how to get those numbers, but that's roughly where we're at. That's roughly our understanding of the game at the moment, and defense and how it works. But yeah, hopefully that helps out a bit. Thanks for watching, guys. It's been Green Cow. I was going to jump into Defense Break as well, however, after a whole bunch of testing, found out it was broken. I made a separate video for that. So Defense Break at the moment is broken. Don't bother with it for the time being, but knowing UB, they'll probably fix it up shortly. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys.